the madness. Oh. God, he even runs like a fucking stripper.
How many strippers have you seen run, Deputy?
Oh, they're fast in heels, man. You gotta be careful.
That is prime American 3-ton truck with the towing capacity. Everything's chrome. Train. Welcome to the Kerbal Road program. But look, I connected the two rides so you could actually walk on the boardwalk back to the beginning of Mr. Train. Oh.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Oh God!
Well, so there was an accident with
Mr. Train's wild ride.
Dare you lie to the fork of justice? Okay, this is hippies. This is hippies.
Your taillight's out. Please step out of the vehicle.
You know, you can do whatever you want. I'm not getting involved in that truck anymore. As soon as Tippy Bandit gets mentioned, I get nervous. Because I see it in my head. I see it falling down the stairs like a Life Alert commercial. And I just go, this is gonna happen. And my brain lets me know, Tippy Truck is gonna do that. It's gonna, like a Life Alert commercial, it is just going to go, help. I am in danger, please help me. And I'm gonna go, Jesus Christ, Tippy Truck, what is wrong with you? And it goes, I'm Tippy Truck. Oh, flag him. Yeah, let's flag everyone with your pistol, your loaded gun. Excellent instructor. Let's just, yeah, okay, and pointing it at more people. Are you gonna just point guns at people? Like, what? What in the cinnamon toast fuck is going on?
Respond to alarm. Alarm does not matter.
Somebody clip that. Oh my God. That was the most horrible scream.
All right, you're ready. I'm ready. We're kicking it over. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to a Metal Gear Monday, I suppose.
We're overdue for Metal Gear Monday. We ain't Metal Geared or Mondayed in a bit.
Quite some time.
But now we can finally return to our roots. Questioning Kojima's decisions and his influence on the gaming industry and design of video games by everyone who says he's a genius, but you know better. Right?
Well, this one has been filtered through Konami's desire for money.
Well, and that's fine, because I'll also shit on Konami all day. All day I will shit on Konami.
Bad news time, though.
What?
Controller doesn't work.
Oh, no. The controller doesn't work.
Yeah.
So let's run through all the issues we've had to get to this point, because I think people need to understand what that is.
I don't remember most of them.
I like what Chet says. He's good at telling a story, but you also need drugs to understand that story.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's fair. Like, I'm sure that if I was on a number of mind-altering substances, I would find Kojima to be an unparalleled genius.
Come on, where is the...
But I've had eyes and seen movies. I've seen movies with my eyes.
Yeah, that does become a problem.
Doesn't it?
All right. I'm kicking us over to the... Oh, did I get rid of technical difficulties? Oh, no. Oh, okay. Give me a second. All right. Audio is still good. I just need to get...
Audio's good. So now welcome to the podcast.
Well, no, I mean, so they can still hear us as we troubleshoot this.
Well, we've had nothing but trouble, and we haven't been able to shoot anything yet.
Oh, wow, that is loud.
Oh,
good Lord.
Yes, that is. That is what we'd like to call unnecessarily loud.
Very dramatic, though, you know.
Very dramatic.
All right,
but also
that?
a departure. Okay, that's better. But I'm saying that's also a departure from, like, the Rule of Cool Bond movie kind of intro stuff that, you know, made Snake Eater kind of different. So if they're gonna try to do like overly dramatic, more modern movie stuff with leitmotifs and stuff, I'm not gonna be so happy. Because one thing I have to point out was the sound design in the original game was incredibly competent,
Yeah.
like incredibly competent, and it was because it was understated, and then it rose like a chorus, like a climax of music, and then it faded away into the distance and became very soft when you're doing sneaky stuff. So then the music gives way to the soundscape. But when characters are talking or there's big dialogue moments or you have any of this exposition,
Okay.
your
It's
music
working.
returns, right? So you have to have that kind of left hand, right hand, left hand when you do soundtracks for everything.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I think that that's kind of important. And, as Night Owl says, back to the stream's roots, the technical difficulty screen.
Oh, come on. You were working just a second ago.
Like, I'm just going to say
You're
this
fucking
much.
kidding me. If it works if I'm not in the screen.
That's great.
No, it doesn't work if I'm not in the screen. Okay, so I had this whole thing, planned out that I had hoped to use an actual PlayStation 2 controller for this because we had the issue where the pressure sensitive stuff didn't work when we tried Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. So I went and found one of my actual old PlayStation 2 controllers. And I cleaned it out lovingly, and I got it back to where it was, and I fixed the stick drift.
Did I ever tell you of my friend who lovingly rebuilt an original Xbox 360 controller?
Okay.
He found one at a thrift store, an original Xbox 360 controller, and it was in the box. Like it had never been opened. It was somebody's birthday present or whatever, and just had been essentially forgotten.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's a sad story. Like some grandma got something for a kid, and then maybe the kid grew up or didn't have an Xbox, and the kid just gave it to the thrift store, right?
Yeah.
A little sad, but it's a story of Americana. And the thing that made me laugh was that he was like, I'm going to give this a home. I'm going to take care of a broken toy. He had that whole thing that we all do. It's why Toy Story is sad. It's why it can get us on the... Yeah. And it's because we all know that feeling. And that's fine. That's why that stuff is sad, because we can all... Anyone who's grown up poor and had some raggedy-ass old toys knows what it's like. But the thing that's funny is he made this huge show about getting his, everything together and happy and good. And then, he spends his time breaking it down and everything and talking about how great it is. And then he plugged it in and it shorted out and started a fire.
Oh, no.
It just burst into flames like 10 seconds after he did it. And I died laughing for about 12 minutes.
Alright, so for whatever reason, Steam says this is not one controller. Steam says this is 4 controllers.
Why'd you plug in 4 controllers?
Well, I didn't. I did, however, plug in a universal USB converter that lets me play PlayStation 2, GameCube, or OG Xbox. It was designed for Windows XP, which is, I think, the problem.
I love the idea that, we have a perfectly serviceable new game, but we have to add in a wild card just to make it hard.
Yeah,
like,
I apologize, you guys.
Here's my question. Can you play this with a mouse?
Oh, yeah.
Is it as good?
No. If I get too frustrated with this, which is rapidly approaching, I'm just going to switch over to the PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4 controllers. Because those are known good, and just deal with it. But whatever. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. We will consign the PlayStation 2 controller to the emulator, which it plays nice with. It was a decent idea, at least. Steam says it's mostly playable with my controller. That's good
Mostly.
to know. Thank
Well,
you, Steam.
how much is mostly?
That's an excellent question. Okay. And DS4 V1 is active, battery level 100% because it's plugged in. So this music, at least, is original from the game.
I'm just saying, sound balance is everything in a good game.
Yeah.
I know that sounds ridiculous to obsess over, but I hate when games have a soundtrack that just walks into the room like a drunk parent. It's like, hey, what's going on? And then it just comes in and you can't hear what you're thinking. And I know why they do it. It's because they paid a lot of money to get that soundtrack, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I paid the money for it. And they're like, I understand you paid the money for it, but you need to like not use it every 5 seconds. It's kind of the problem when, especially in movies, where you have like, oh, I hired the big name director, and that's great. And then you hired the big name guy to compose your soundtrack.
All right, there we go.
Which becomes a problem.
All right, which are we choosing? I believe that this just affects what camouflage we use initially.
Is that so?
I have to be able to see chat. No, too many windows. Oh, God.
I love how it says this is intended for certain audiences. I think that's a really mean way of saying autistic people.
It says, oh, God.
Look, we'll be fine. It'll be fine. Look, all you have to do is oh wow, we have all these choices, you know?
Yes.
I think that it's kind of mean because you have to say I like everything in the MGS series, and I'm just like, well, that's a bit much.
Yeah, it tells you what you get. Uniform Mummy, Uniform DPM, Oscam Desert, Desert Tiger, Flectarn, Green and Brown Face Paint, Banana, National Flags, and Grenade Uniform, which allows you unlimited grenade use. Someone forgot to mute his Discord jingles. Nope. That is actually PS4 and Windows fighting for control over the PlayStation 4 controller.
That's hilarious.
Because Windows does not like Sony because they are a competing product. So you have to use a workaround to get them to work with Windows 10, and that workaround is DS4. Occasionally, Windows will go, oh god, that's not an Xbox controller, and DS4 beats it to death and says, no, it is.
That's great.
Yeah.
It seems like, again, a Konami thing. You know what I mean? Where they're just like, hey, couldn't this be a problem? And they're like, you sound like a problem.
I like Flectarn. We're doing it that way. Alright. So when I did my test, I did the Legacy style. And the controls are not quite the same. The pressure sensitive was gone anyway, which made my PS2 controller stick a little less useful. So, fuck it, let's do it Metal Gear Solid 5 style to see all the new stuff this has to offer.
Well, I mean, we know the old game, and we've at least streamed it with compromised speed in certain sections. We had some of the longest set pieces in history.
Certain sections.
We're just having like
game, man.
Yeah, we're having philosophical discussions on like what we think of as like the true motorcycle. And as we're driving around at a Ural at the worst speed ever.
Well, it could have been a CJ 750.
Yeah, okay, I get you, but I hate that we can have these discussions.
No, I'd have to look at its indicator lights to know if it was Chinese or Russian manufacturer.
You could also taste it. One will have lead.
Oh, they'll both have lead depending on the era.
Yes, but one's vintage. It's that vintage Soviet lead, you know. Too bad there's not an option for if you have a friend who has like a smoky voice to just read it, you know, read the Konami stuff. I think that would be really funny. Just like, hey, here's your friend, here's your script so your friend can play along.
You know what makes your super secret organization even secreter?
Well, I can list a number of things wrong with this. Where do you want to start?
Because let's see what you've got. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to take a aircraft that has the radar cross section of a barn into Russian airspace, which notably was very lax and calm at this point of time. They didn't shoot down U-2s or anything else that we thought they could.
They shot down airliners.
Yeah, it's... So, here we are flying in over what is most certainly a controlled airspace in an aircraft that cannot be anything other than what it is. And the fact that we are not seeing MiGs on the wing, you know, is a courtesy. Because that's a courtesy. Typically at this point in history, they wouldn't fly to intercept. They'd start shooting and then send planes up to see what they hit.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I know you're going to autistically point out all the uniform mismatch, and I could autistically point out all of the aircraft mismatch and say, well, that's technically not correct, but I'm just going to say this. Let's go with the glaringly obvious. One, that is the biggest C-130 deck I've ever seen. Two, is this a pressurized environment or not? Because I'm getting mixed signals here, including the guys in the comm center. Is there a bulkhead door between them that's airtight that will allow a depressurization and repressurization mid-flight? I'm curious. Now, this guy puts on his GIMP mask, right? Because, you know, that's what you do. He puts on his GIMP mask, and he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put on my GIMP mask that is connect to Doodly Fuck, and I'm going to jump out under the cover of noon. Under the cover of noon. And the mask has, what does the mask have on it? Made where?
U.S. Army Operation Snake Eater Metal Gear Solid is what it says on it.
Right, so... Okay,
so not only do you have the organization, you have the operation it was made for.
Well, so, like, let's say the plane gets smashed, and they find the remains. They're going to go to the UN and be like, look what America was doing. And then we'll be like, anybody could have stolen that plane. That was Turkish dissidents out of Turkey. And then they'll go, what about this set of boots that are American? What about this guy who is American? What about the suit that has American written all over it? And they're going to be like, balderdash.
Spread your wings and fly. God be with you.
I don't think that's going to end well.
I just like the idea of that aircraft sitting on the ramp in, like, Thailand with zeros for a tail number and a giant special forces, you know, secret unit that's not supposed to exist insignia painted on both sides of the fuselage.
Now, as you know, the way to avoid Russian radar is to fly at airliner altitude at a steady pace toward the objective.
I've got some important news.
Yes.
That was most notably effective against Soviet SA-2 and 4 systems of the era. Now, I'm going to tell you about my friend Krug, right? Krug is dumber than a basset hound on bath salts. Krug goes Mach fuck. It is like Mach 4. Krug is too dumb to jam. Now, what you use Krug against is stuff like, SR-71 and other things you want to catch that are going real fast, right? So, if you provide a plane that to Krug is essentially sitting still, Krug is going to blow it out of the water.
Nah. It'll blow it out of the sky, not the water.
It might introduce them to water in the process. Krug is a bit overkill. If you go look up at the SA-4 missile system, you're going to think that's like 8 water heaters welded together with a warhead. And you're not wrong, it kind of is.
Yeah. There were Taiwanese U-2s. We gave a lot of stuff to the Taiwanese that they then immediately lost to the Chinese. Such as the first generation of AIM-7 and AIM-9s both.
most responsible for the
The Soviet Atoll copy, which was carried home in the fuselage of a MiG by the Chinese, was so direct a copy they used our drawing numbers.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success.
I love how they
So
show,
what
like,
you wanted to fill
Korolev, you know,
It
which
seems
is
he's
like the
become afraid of his
Soviet,
own
well, many things, actually. I don't want to just say he's a von Braun, because he actually did a lot more. They thought his name, American intelligence thought his name, Korolev, was actually a code name, and that it represented a gestalt of like 20, 30 people. No, it was a guy who gave the Soviets the rocket program. And crazily enough, he was almost an embarrassment for the Soviet Union because he'd been denounced before the war and put into the gulag and made to mine salt.
Yes.
And he was almost dead, and they had to go get him and said, "Hey, sorry about this denouncement and whatever. Can you figure out how the Nazis made these rockets, please?"
And it was only a week later that we
I'm
had
going to
something
use
much bigger on
the cutscene time to eat a snack pack, because I just woke up and I haven't eaten yet.
October
What kind of
16th,
snack pack?
1962, President Kennedy
Banana
received
cream.
word that the Soviets were in the
Oh.
process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba.
Like the adult that I am.
The President demanded.
I don't think anyone's a functioning adult these days. Have you seen people in public?
He announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile
Yeah.
I watched a
unfortunately.
guy. I watched a guy
Soviets didn't
sneeze,
back
right?
down, instead placing their
And
own forces on
I
secondary
I
alert.
watched him sneeze, and it was the most peculiar thing. Now, if you have to stifle a sneeze in public on public transit, how would you do it?
Probably into the crook of my arm.
Oh, you mean like a responsible adult, right?
Yeah, that's what I try to do.
Well, so see, there's a reason why on public transit there's germs the size of fucking turtles, okay? And it's because of this guy. I watched this guy just lower his head sharply and sneeze directly into the front of his shirt.
You mean the one where the U.S. agreed
Oh,
to
no.
move its
And,
IRB
and there was
headquarters
just
to Turkey?
blotches and stains. And then I looked up and I'd seen dried blotches and stains next to it. And I realized that's just how this guy goes through life.
They had no strategic value whatsoever.
It's like time to
The US
sneeze and
or
just
the Russians.
shotguns
The
the
Turkey
front
deal
of his
was a
shirt.
ruse.
Like
The cover story
that was his
fed
thing.
other
And he didn't
intelligence
look
agencies
embarrassed or
around the
whatever. He
world.
just looked at
So what
me,
did the Russians
sniffled
really
his
want?
nose, and just kept riding. That's why you wash your hands
Return
after riding public transit.
You mean
Yeah.
the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
I've seen some
hell
shit
was
on
he
public
working on?
transit. There was that one
Time,
lady.
we had no idea.
She had this whole giant
We were
Ziploc
running
bag
out
of
of
nothing but
time.
hard-boiled eggs.
Was either give
and
up
she ate about
Sokolov
12
or
of
risk
them.
full-scale nuclear war.
And at first I saw this person just eating eggs, like producing them out of a coat pocket. And it was like a magic trick, you know. I was like, how many eggs will show up? It was 12. She ate a dozen eggs on the way to work. And I can only imagine that when she bends over in that office to get a piece of paperwork, she is killing people.
That's
Like,
like
I'm
a
sure that-
1,000
yeah.
calories in egg.
Then a month ago, we received some
Hey
new
man, you gotta get your 12 eggs in the morning.
About
God
Sokolov?
damn it.
You know, like, some people
Taken
eat
back
12
to
eggs, but they're like
researchers and
yoked,
forced
you
to
know, they
continue
got arms
working on
like
the
tree
weapon in
trunks.
question under KGB
Yeah,
supervision.
no, this lady had an
What's
ass
more,
like
it
grimace.
was on the verge of
She just wanted, I'm being honest, she just wanted the 12 eggs. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, maybe the doctor told her, like, 12 eggs, or probably no doctor said 12 eggs.
I guess you're right.
It was
We don't
probably
know
like,
details,
you
but
should
it
eat
appears
hard-boiled
to be
eggs, it's
nuclear
protein,
device.
it's
I don't
good.
know. That sounds like
For half
something
a year
Dr.
now,
Oz
the
would
Soviets
say.
have been conducting tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba.
You know,
to
I
get
mean,
back.
here's the thing.
Is
I
Sokolov still in the facility?
I just saw someone do that. Now, the other
According
one
to
that
our
I thought was
intelligence, he's in
impressive,
Selino
right?
Yask.
The other one
place
that
in
I
the
thought was like
mountains about 3 miles
incredibly
to the west.
impressive.
It's
Like,
known as
have
the
you ever
Virgin
seen
Cliffs.
something that alarmed you at
Virgin
first,
Cliffs? Nice name for a virgin.
and then you started to
moved from
kind of
there
like
just
root
recently.
for them?
Why?
Apparently,
You ever had
they're
those
conducting
moments?
A field test of the weapon, but it's our best
Sorry,
chance
I
of
was
getting back.
mesmerized by the little
This
X
mission would
moving
never
around
have
the
been
screen.
possible if he was still in
That
the
was not in the
research.
Yeah,
first
that-
game.
Yeah, that's not how they
This is
do
our last
that,
chance.
actually. At
Sokolov
that point,
must
they
have
would
known
just,
that,
they
so
wouldn't be
we
putting up a
copied
digital anything. They would be like, all right, check out this photo we blew up.
Yeah.
Sorry for each of the pixels being the size of a thumb. We had to send a
Here's-
keyhole
Here's an
overhead.
overlay.
Well, no, it would be
I'm
the
not a
issue
cat,
of.
but I may have ADHD.
Well, no, you send the fucking satellite over. It takes pictures, Like, go look up the KH-11 spy satellite. They've declassified that. It flies overhead, it takes pictures, and then it shits out a film capsule that re-enters the atmosphere, and then they catch it. That's where the Fulton was designed for, is to catch those things as they came down.
If you
So they would,
if you want to touch one, just go to Ohio. There's one on display, a Keyhole 11 on display in the Museum of the Air Force now.
Yeah, you can go see how that film cartridge system works, and it is just absolute bonkers. It is just Cold War madness.
If you needed higher fidelity, that's an SR-71 or a U-2.
Yeah, and hey, Dayhiker says his uncle ran the photo lab at the St. Louis office that developed those. Well, pass him on my thanks. That's awesome. Thank him for his service, because that's neat. So, all right, have you ever seen anything so alarming? Have you ever seen anything so alarming? And then,
there's guns in there somewhere. That's an AC-130.
Well, it might not be an AC-130 because they had some special operations ones that were part AC-130, part carrying guys, part something else. The problem was that Kojima saw all of those different variants and said put them on the same plane, which, while I want to yell at him for being stupid, the DoD would probably have done that if someone insisted, even slightly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they would have been like, why can't it do all the things? The problem is, when you cut holes in an airframe, right, it's not airtight and hard pressurized, right? Because gun breaches
And
and
they've got
stuff.
an auxiliary tank, which normally would take up the cargo bay.
Right, and the other issue is you have a command center where there's guns, and then you have the cargo bay where there's guns, and then you also have the cargo bay and the auxiliary gas tank. That guy has
This thing's
the
a fucking
worst.
TARDIS. Hey, they
Well,
actually
it's
got
not
the
only-
little drogue chute correct on the parachute. That's nice.
Well, the other thing that just kind of bothers me is that you have this guy who has the Dr. Evil scar, and I'm like, but why? Were you at the Heidelberg fencing school? Did you? I mean, what's that
Well,
from?
I mean, spoilers, he does become the big bad for the entire series, so...
Well, I understand that, but
Everybody
the other
here, everybody in this game is a bad person.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. Now, where was my question? All right. So yes. So have you ever?
So they made that
watched
a
somebody...
lot more dramatic in the first version of this.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he, like, almost goes over the edge.
So
Anyway, sorry.
you have seen someone, though, who starts doing something that is so concerning that you just go like, wow, I hope you're okay. But then it keeps going, right? It just keeps going and going and going, and it's too much, but you can't help but look away. You know, it's like someone who gets into a car accident and then keeps getting into the car accident, right? You know, they like catch a fender or something, and they start putting their foot down, and you just watch it get worse, where at any point, a second or two of, this is dumb, I shouldn't do it, it would make a reasonable person back off, right? Reasonably.
Yeah.
So I was sitting on this was pre-COVID, but let's wait for this little cutscene to play out.
No, this is not a little cutscene. You were saying.
All right. So I was gonna say also another issue. What's that radio on him right now? What's that radio? Is that a field radio pack with like a 50-kilometer radius? Is that a big transmitter? Is that a boosted transmitter? Is that a white sweep? What's he got there? What's that little radio he's got there?
If I recall, it's a PRC 126 survival radio.
Oh man, PRC 126. Now the range on that is obviously going to bounce encrypted to a orbiting aircraft, right?
Yeah, that's why the Japanese, or not the Japanese, God, wrong war. That's why the North Vietnamese couldn't, pop the same smoke as downed airmen through the entirety of the Vietnam War.
Right. Anyways. Yeah, these things are like, essentially, if you use this radio on the ground, what I'm getting at, it's like using a megaphone, and ringing a dinner bell behind it. Like people are gonna know you were
Getting back
there.
to the subject,
There's no
how
way
exactly
they
am I
don't.
supposed to feed
It's got a lot of
myself?
bleed over. They are not in the least bit secure. But yeah, okay. Anyways, back to my original point because I've gotten distracted like 12 times. But
Yeah,
here's
about the
my
backpack.
takeaway.
I lost it in a tree on the way down.
This was pre-COVID. I am on the train, and I look over, and this guy keeps looking at
No
his
problem.
briefcase.
I can see it from here.
Like, just keeps looking at it. Like, maybe, perhaps, there's a secret in that briefcase, right? He keeps looking at that briefcase like there's a secret, and only he knows it. And he keeps looking at the briefcase, and I see him, after a span of time, start to like play with the latches on the briefcase. And I start getting into a little bit of panic mode because I'm going, what if this guy has a gun in there? And today's the day he does falling down. And I'm like, oh God. So I start having a little bit of a micro panic attack because I'm, paranoid, and justifiably so. But I'm watching this guy. Uh-oh. Oh, that closed. Yeah, don't worry about it. It closed. Wait, yes, it's fine. It's fine. It stopped streaming on my end. I'm going to watch the stream on Twitch. Don't touch anything.
Are you sure?
So, yes, don't fuck with it. So
Okay.
we're not tempting fate. We're not doing that. So anyways, this guy keeps looking in there. I'm sitting there looking around me because I'm like, if this bastard tries something, what am I going to do? Hit him with my shoe? Not a great strategy. So I'm doing my, what can I reach to fuck this guy up? Then he opens the briefcase, and I become more curious than alarmed. Because sitting in that briefcase, in the well of this briefcase, where normally one might have a laptop or laptop accessories or briefs or files or a book, he doesn't have that.
Snake, try to remember some of the
He has laid in
basics
there
of QC.
6 Subway sandwiches like a magazine, like a cigarette case. They are all wrapped in Subway, like the paper, and they're all in there like a cigarette case, like an old-timey cigarette case where you fold them open, right?
Now.
And he's sitting there, and he takes one out, and he shucks it like corn. And I watch this man eat a foot-long Subway sandwich, and I am not joking, about 6 or 7 bites. I would say the man ate like Beldar Conehead, but in reality, looking back and seeing the memory of it, I realized he ate more like a duck. It wasn't natural. And so I'm sitting there and we're rolling, and I'm like, I was just like, holy shit, did I just see that? No one's going to believe me. That's crazy. I'm like framing how I will tell my coworkers. I thought this guy was up to some shit. And then he ate a sandwich in like 6 or 7 bites.
Yeah.
Right? Well, about 15 minutes go by. It's a long train trip. And I see him start thumbing the side of that briefcase again. And I'm like, no, don't think about it. And then he takes another one out, shucks it 6 or 7 bites. Now, at this point, I have gone from alarmed to like mystified. This is like seeing an act of God. This is not normal. 15 minutes more go by and he opens it again. And I'm rooting for the guy at this time. I'm like, you can do this. I believe in you. You're a hero. You are the American dream. You are all that you can be. He got through like 4 or 5 sandwiches over the course of a 2-hour train trip. That was back when I had the hell commute. Now, I'm wondering how many miles of the sandwich this was, right? But
Yeah.
It was impressive. When you see that, it's amazing. And look, it's Chippy. It's Mr. Chippy.
Hey, Mr. Chippy.
Ed Gauss. That was a good retelling. Best one yet. Tell the story of Sandwich Man. I guess that's kind of the wonderment of our age, huh? Sing me a song of the Sandwich Man.
People
I already told-
reacted pretty well to the train rants back when you had the Hell Commute.
It's how I made peace with it. And Pharisees, you literally came in 5 minutes after the egg story and were like, is it the egg story? Talk about the egg story. Brother, hit rewind. I did it. I can't do a repeat performance. It's against guild rules.
Not this close together.
No. I don't know. I think everyone has a weird food story. Because, Americans are weird about food. Some might say even unhealthy. But what I am
Well,
going
they're unhealthy
to do,
about food because the food is unhealthy about us.
Well, fair enough. Now, Chippy says
every European that I've ever known to come over here has put on like 25 pounds in a month.
Yeah, and they're just like, how did that happen? And I'm like, see what happens? And they're like, oh my God, you're all victims.
Yeah, essentially. Like that's the conversation that we have.
Yeah.
Major,
Yeah.
I've spotted 2 enemy soldiers.
So when Chippy was over here, he kept trying to order fried bread. Now, if you were a person working in a restaurant or a diner and someone asked for fried bread, what would you think it is?
French toast.
Oh, you are wrong. You are wrong. You are absolutely wrong. Incorrect. Minus 50 points, Gryffindor. No, wrong. No, what fried bread is Chippy wants them, and I watched every single waitress Chippy told. I watched their brain melt as he told them what to do. He said, go grab 2 slices of bread and drop it in the fryer, and then scoop them out and bring them here. And they would just like open their mouth and then closed it, and they're like, I'll go ask the kitchen. And then they come right back and they're like, no. And Chippy looked at them like they had stabbed baby Jesus. Like, why would you not do this? Oh man, that was great. That was funny because we were at a diner, and it was Chippy, Flop, myself, Boba, just whole crew sitting at a diner. And at this diner, Chippy does the fried bread thing. Everybody else is having a good time, and then the manager comes over, and I'm like, "Oh God, have we been too loud or whatever?" And the manager is like, "Hey, you're gonna have to leave."
Oh no!
And I was like, "What did we do? Like, did Chippy like punch somebody I didn't see or whatever? I mean, he'll square up. That's just how they talk in the North. You know what I mean? They're all like Sean Bean. They'll fight anybody. And it's not personal. It's just just a bit of banter, as they call it.
Yeah.
So here's what happened: is the guy a second later goes, "There's a massive gas leak and the fire department's on its way. Don't worry about the bill." So we didn't have to pay, and Chippy was like, "Gas leak deserved." What was crazy is as we left, some guy that they had also told to leave because of the gas leak takes 4 steps outside that thing, takes a cigarette out, puts it in his mouth, and lights the cigarette and just stands there. And I'm like,
of course he does.
We should leave right now.
God, these controls are like bass awkward from the actual ones in the old game.
Yeah, Chippy's going to show up in America, and he's going to see the American experience. He's going to get combed out on that barbecue.
Oh, is he going to the meetup?
Yep. No, Chippy wants to see America. There's a lot of America to see,
Well-
and there's enough Legionnaires everywhere to where you could essentially take people and just hand them off. Be like, hey, babysit Chippy for a day. Show him your neck of the woods. Also, I love the little hush puppy in this. I think that they really did a good job on that.
If I could, I would build a replica, because it's just a cool little gun.
Okay. Noted. Can you find me a donor frame?
We're not... Oh, God. We're not building a hush puppy.
Why?
Money.
It's not about the money. I'm a bored gunsmith. It's about the challenge. You can't ask why you made a Damascene steel PPK. You just say you did. And people are like, that was ridiculous. And you're like, I know. Let's see. What do I need to make a hush puppy?
Oh, God.
Oh! Uh-huh. Alright, hold on. Let me get in here. What do we got? Got it. Uh-huh. 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 Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Right. I'm sitting here looking through all these diagrams. I mean, the suppressor would not even be hard to manufacture.
I mean, it's a first-generation suppressor. Well, second generation.
Well, it's a wipe-based suppressor, so
Yes.
they're awful. They last like 25 shots. The suppressors in a Mark 22 fail real quick. Let me see.
So there's actually a reason I started a giant gunfight there, and it is for the life bar.
So what I need is a Smith & Wesson Model 39, which I know I can get, no problem. Then I have to do some work.
Yes.
No, hold on. Let me get into this. All right. Smith & Wesson Model 39 model. Oh, what do we got here? No. Ba. Yeah, they could probably be had as a donor frame for probably 800. You know, I think it could be done.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting it be done, but yeah, Hush Puppy wouldn't be bad. The problem is you'd shoot it a few times, it would get louder and louder, and then you'd say, this is not a good gun, and I'd say, correct. And then we'd both be really sad. Some things are old school and they're just not cool. You know what I mean? And then some things are old school and are always cool. Then again, I think that's kind of, well, let's be honest. That's kind of always been a style thing. There's stuff that's cool forever, and there's stuff that's cool only once.
Ow.
I love that you can like drop some of the sentries, and they'll get on the radio, and there's obvious gunfights out in the jungle.
Yeah.
And then once you kill them, the radio goes away. As you know, when you start seeing people get dropped out in the jungle on whatever, the natural response is, of course, to just ignore it. It'll be fine.
Yeah. All right, problem solved.
I also love that they put some of the American experimental weapons here. Like there's the XME 16A1 and whatever, and
Well,
all
almost everything here was not developed until the Vietnam War was ongoing. You know, he's
and
wearing
even
the
then,
Stabo harness, which is a that's a MACV SOG thing, like an RT team thing. You know, the Tiger Stripe fatigues. This is a 67 to 70 kind of era John Wayne sparse variant of the Tiger Stripes. These fatigues would not have been available. The advisor cut was not... Yeah, it was probably just coming into its infancy. Yeah, the Hush Puppy was brand new. That is the wrong button, but okay. There we go.
I just love that they have an early M16. They just happen to have it.
Yeah. And it honestly, it's decently modeled. So we've got a partial fence lower, correct A1 and base M16 profile on the front takedown pin. Oh, no third hole. This is a semi-automatic one.
Well, you know, what's kind of interesting is 90% of guns, no matter how highly detailed in most video games, are of course airsoft.
Yeah,
That's what they use as a frame
as a
of
reference, because that's what's
Yeah.
easily available and unregulated.
Yeah.
They do have a correct magazine, although it doesn't have any markings on the floor plate. It doesn't look like. No,
Well,
I think something's there. I can't zoom in to read it, but I think something's there. There's no roll marks on the magazine well.
I've always hated the forward assist.
Yeah, and this is a forward assist model, which is interesting.
I
It would have
just
been
the reason
much cooler to have a
flat
like-
side, yeah.
well, a Colt 601, yeah, slab side lower, green furniture, brown furniture. It's got
Well, it
a
would have been
601 style front sight, because that is a
It would be a-
milled sight base.
I think that would also be interesting if you had like one of the Dutch AR-10s or something. You
Yeah.
know, just the old wooden setup with the charging handle in the carrying handle.
It's a Type D buttstock.
The only issue I have with like forward assists is, and maybe this is just the gunsmith speaking in me, but if you have a cartridge that will not seat or go in, probably the worst thing you can do in the world is just try to make it work anyways and jam it in there.
Yeah.
There's probably some other mechanical issue. And I've seen a lot of people defend the forward assist, saying it's like it's the smartest thing, it's the way to be certain, it's the way to check. And I'm like, no. Just no.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but no.
Oh yeah, the 601 furniture was quite weak. Early open cage flash hider, yep, but this is the mid-early, not the early, which would have had scallops. Those ones broke all the time. These ones broke some of the time, which is why they went to the bird cage. I mean, M16A1 furniture is weak anyway. These little ribs that come to snap together, well, push together, those break all the fucking time. Cracks develop in the pistol grips and the stocks fairly easily. Like, the material science came a long way between the mid-60s when that was developed and the mid-80s when they did the A2 upgrades. Yeah, let's look at the Mark 22 for a second. Oh, this one's got a serial number. You can tell just how fucking crude these conversions were.
Well,
That
it's
is a
like
hex
the
bolt.
yeah, it's I've done worse in gunsmithing just to make something work.
Well, yeah.
The thing that I actually thought was kind of interesting is if you ever saw the asp that was made. Those things are awesome.
The apps are cool as hell.
I knew a guy who used to make his business
laid into the fucking grips and gutter snipe sights.
What he did that was really, really cool was he had a business in recreating asps. Like that was one of his things he did was I'll make you one. Okay. And he's sold a lot of them.
Yeah.
Then eventually he ran out of donor guns, and he was like, "Yeah, people pay a few $100 or $1,000 for an asp conversion, but they're not going to like buy a gun that's now expensive and then have you do $1,000, $2,000 worth of work on it."
Yeah. Oh, that's a pretty decent. Like, I suspect they may have had to get an actual hands-on example for this.
That looks fairly close to the one at, I think it's the Green Beret Museum. But I don't know. I mean,
the problem is because they were small production and they were not a standardized model, there's a bunch of variation.
Well, and the other thing I do have to like in this model that they got correct is the luster of metal, where you can see patina and everything of it having been in the field.
Well, yeah.
So as you look at it in different,
you can see the patina, and you can see mill marks are properly put on the slide on the frame from polishing. Well, on the slide too. Yeah, no, I think they had an actual example. I don't think this came off an airsoft replica.
Well, and it's nice to see that they actually have done their homework in that. I think that's kind of critical.
I want some more.
Okay.
I love that you can just eat a hornet's nest. You know?
Why wouldn't you?
I imagine getting the radio call from your embedded operative.
Oh, yeah.
In the field. Your asset gets on the radio and is like, "I'm compromised." And you're like, "Oh, have they cornered you?" And it's like, "I ate a hornet's nest." And you're like, what? You just left. We fed you. We gave you food on the plane.
I want to see if he talks about, Siberian ink camps. Don't care.
Check your stamina.
Yep, I know how stamina works. Tell me about the hornet's nest. Don't care. Hornet's nest.
Snake, you will encounter Baltic hornets' nests.
Yeah, there we go.
Baltic hornets are a variety of hornets that inhabit that area. The difference
I wonder if Baltic hornets are a real thing.
They produce honey in their nests.
I'm sure they are. Hornets suck. It's probably the worst thing nature
you can eat adult
honey
hornets, yeah.
Inside the nest is delicious and full of nutrients. It's easy
just put them in your mouth.
And helps pep you up when you're feeling tired. In short, it's the perfect survival food.
There we go, Tex. That's the addition to my olive oil MRE. Is hornet's nest honey.
It's a protective coating over the skin. When you knock down a hornet's
This
nest,
brought to you by
a
Hornet
worm
Gang.
orbit will appear along with it, so don't forget to pick it up.
Disregard B posts. Downvote B posters.
I will learn at some point how to lean against the wall, but right now is not that time.
By the way, I know something we can toss in on weeks we don't do this that's horrendous.
Okay.
Did you know that Shadows of a Doubt had an update? And I don't know what that dev is smoking, but they are certainly on their own fucking planet. And I don't mind that because what they're doing is definitely what they want to be doing.
Yeah.
You know, like they're building their game. I'm cool with that, but I don't know what they're on, right? So Shadows of a Doubt, they have a major update called modifiers. And here's shall I read some of the modifiers for you that are in this game? This is
Sure.
a major amount of work for them. This is a major update for Shadows of a Doubt. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Everyone in chat, are you ready to hear the update? I want you to sit back, having known the detective game, Shadows of a Doubt, what's missing in your brain, and then just let's start there. And here we go. 1. Snail Nemesis. You're immortal. However, somewhere a snail is always slowly moving towards you. If it touches you, you die. 2. Rat Detective. You are the rat detective. You are only 10 centimeters tall. You can climb on walls and ceilings. You can sneak past people and make less noise. However, if you are spotted, prepare to get stomped on. 3. Fame and fortune. You are a world-famous detective. Good luck hiding in the shadows while people are chasing you down and asking for your autograph. Next, film noir. Experience the full noir detective life with a black and white filter. I'll be playing that because it's no difference to me. Actually, it is because filters are obvious. And then, permadeath mode. Hospitals won't help you, and in some cases, neither will your saved games.
Oh no.
When you get to Sokolov, I want you to tell him something from me.
There's more.
Sorry for being so late.
Short-sighted. After a visit to the optician, you now need glasses in your inventory to see properly. If you lose them, your vision will become blurred. Be careful, they can be knocked off in combat or a fall.
Of course they can.
House arrest. You start with an apartment, where as soon as you acquire one, you will not legally be allowed to leave it. The building's security will treat you as a threat. Gambling debt. Start with a small fortune in your pocket, but in debt to a loan shark. You have to pay it back each day, otherwise you will be hunted and attacked. So, Shadows of a Doubt, interesting game.
Yeah, interesting game, but good God. What the fuck are those choices?
That's what I mean, is it's one of those things where I love game devs that do not give a shit what you think their game should be. They tell you what, they're like, no, I don't care. Anybody who comes along, big YouTuber, small YouTuber, big streamer, small streamer, game reviewer, doesn't matter. They don't care. They are locked in their vision, and they're like, this is what you get now. 100% behind it. But what I'm saying is it's insanity. And I think that's also beautiful. Like it's one of those things that's a major update for them. Yes.
Yes.
I think the previous update for that is off duty so you can smoke. That's yep.
Yeah, no, that game has so much potential.
I think what it has is just madness, but I'm all for it.
Well, that's what I mean. Is it has potential for a lot of very interesting diegetic shit, and none of that was necessarily improved by adding the mutators, but they're very interesting mutators. I will give them that.
And I think that's fine. Like I think that it's like anybody who doesn't like that, it seems like the dev's whole opinion of it is like, well, then don't play it.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. The other thing that's really interesting is, when this thing hits workshop and there will be mods. I mean, who's to say that we can't make some... Oh.
That guy died when he fell. Okay.
Sometimes people die when they fall down. Life alert. One of my favorites is that Life Alert commercial where it shows the guy saying help, and someone has edited the Life Alert commercial. So it says help, and the guy picks up the phone and then just hangs it up right away. They just play the clip back of him, taking it off the thing. So it's just click, click. And then they just pan back to the old man looking like confused. It's pretty good.
HQ, please respond.
Oh boy, here we go.
Patrol here. Enemy sighted. Requesting backup.
Apparently those tanks aren't explosive anymore.
I wonder why.
It should have
Because
been.
one of the things I liked in the original Metal Gear Solid 3 was all the small touches. Like if you go blow up all their stockpiles of food or ammunition, they'll start shooting at you and then run out of ammo and then have to like chase you around and try to beat you up.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious if you have all the weapons. I also love that, like, in Ithaca 37 being in the Soviet Union is actually not strange.
No.
Because you could get them anywhere. It's a commercially sold shotgun.
Yep.
The fact they've all been cut down so is pretty interesting.
For jungle fighting, he says.
Uh-huh. Because in a jungle, you don't engage people at any distance other than touching them. That's the range of all engagements. A lot of bayonet wounds in the Vietnam War.
Your friends
surely.
lost you your life privileges. Those ones blow up.
I also love the healing mechanic in this game because once throughout a game I had to count how many times I pulled bullets out of him, and it was like he was shot 75 times over the course of like 3 days.
I'm just not pulling any bullets out.
Are you just refusing to?
Yeah, you build your life bar up if you don't. Oh no, they managed to shoot me while I was rolling around on the ground. How dare they? Alright, I don't
That's against
quite
the
have
rules.
enough ammunition on Extreme to start stupid giant gunfights all the time.
Well, you put it on Extreme, right?
I did.
Yeah, that's where we have an oopsie doodle.
Indeed, indeed. See, it's because I tried to hold that guy up.
What I thought was fun is if you position yourself just right and the enemy was spaced out enough, you could just start doing Macho Man to every single person who came by.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, "Oh, you're trapped in here with me," and it always felt great.
HQ, respond. This is HQ. Patrol here. We're under enemy fire. Enemy's position is unknown. Going into alert formation. Acknowledged.
You're under no such thing.
Use extra caution. Where's he hiding?
Yeah, where is he hiding?
Oh man, it's going. I'm gonna say that they really did nail the lighting for this.
Yeah, they did.
Like, I look around and I'm just seeing all the beautiful lighting of it coming through the trees. Like, just
Well, and I'm
for
on the
people...
lowest settings.
No, I think they did a really good job of that because it's actually different levels of brightness. You can see actual rays, but it's not blinding. The cinematic J.J. Abrams like light lens thing. Yeah, it's actually like this feels like a dusky, shadowy area behind some trees and cover, where up there is a bit brighter and warmer. They really did a good job with that.
They did.
I think it's funny, like, what if somebody had a stopwatch and every time there was an attack, they started it and they're like, you have 99 seconds. That's it. We're doing short sprints. We're agile. We're lean. We're gonna just not waste money. Agile. We're gonna be very agile. Oh my god. We're gonna be very agile and lean.
Agile and lean,
your enemy
yes.
your enemy has defeated you. At least your intent, it seems, by a bit of the old zimzam, which is to say, very, very carefully moving slightly to the left or to the right.
That takes much longer than it used to.
I just love that we're just running around now being weird.
Patrol here. We've lost sight of the intruder, going into high alert.
All right.
The enemy is still nearby. Pursue and engage him.
What's wrong?
Don't mind me.
I do love some of their mop and jungle gear just kind of mixed together.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in the jungle, it's great to wear a face mask and an overcoat and rubber booties.
Absolutely.
I think what would be... well, here's the thing. They have to explain why they don't see you for a number of reasons, right? And it's because they're dehydrated and they're wearing all that. And they just can't be bothered to chase you around.
I run around like a madman. Okay, we're going to disrupt the ossified think in the organization in order to maximize the usage of our efficiencies. Oh, yes.
Are you one of Volkin's men?
Yes, the jungles of Russia.
Get it from me.
No.
The thing is if you actually made this like Siberia is, it would be so alien and so empty and desolate. You wouldn't know what you were doing.
Major Zero, the man who got you out 2 years ago.
It would be 3 games to find the facility.
Yeah.
I have a message from him.
What is it?
It would be a, like, 50-mile trek, 3 weeks long, to capture an officer.
What does it mean?
To ask where the facility might
He's
be.
a man of his word.
And then do it all again next
No
week.
time for this. You have to get me out of here before they arrive.
Who's they?
Colonel Volk.
I love his little like leather trench coat thing.
Know him as Thunderbolt.
How you know
That
he's...
is,
You in the West
he's
know him as
important.
Thunderbolt.
Never heard of him.
He's
I'd be
one
like,
of the Army's
no, we
extremist
certainly
who
don't.
seeks to seize
No one at work has that name.
Ever since the Cuban
It's all
Missile
like
Crisis
Gary
2
and
years
Steve,
ago,
man.
Khrushchev has been pursuing a policy of peaceful coexistence with the West.
Occasionally names like
Despite
Get in the
resistance
Trunk
and
Johnson.
criticism from hawks in the army and the provincial authorities.
They call him Luggage
Khrushchev has
Joe.
managed to
Why?
suppress
He'll
the
fold you up
opposition
and put you in the
so
trunk.
far. But the failure of his agricultural policies has put him in a precarious position. And on top of that,
I love how
the
they're just very
tragedy of last
vague
November
and no understanding of
arrested
Soviet
Kennedy's
political history
assassination.
or anything, because they could have made this really fascinating if Kojima had opened a wiki article
It
But,
shows he's a major
uh,
secret weapons scientist, of course.
A
Yeah.
certain group is plotting to
It's
use
the Soviet
Troubleshooting
still
to seize
suit that holds in the flavor.
rallying the
yeah,
anti-government
it's
forces, overthrowing Khrushchev,
that coat
and
smells like
installing
Bellamore
Brezhnev and
canals
Kosygin in his
and
place.
cheap
The
cognac.
mastermind
God,
behind
Bellamore
this
canals are
war is
awful.
Colonel Volgin of the GRU.
It's
He has control over
I had
another
heard that
secret
they
weapons
originally
research facility
engineered
much
those
like this
things
one,
to prevent
OKP-812,
smoking.
known as the Granin Design
I know
Bureau,
that's
and
not
is using
true,
it to further
but
his
that's how
plans.
bad they are.
But that is not enough to satisfy him. Now he's plotting to seize the secret weapon I have been developing here and use it as leverage in his bid for power.
Because there's a lot of stuff you could actually put in this that would be nice. Because the Brezhnev Khrushchev split and all that other stuff was really an exploration of transfer of power in the Soviet system, which had never been formally established, and it determined that it would be
Khrushchev's outing was the first non-violent transfer of power Russia had in
They wouldn't need that many men.
100
centuries.
years. Yeah.
Their orders were to prevent Colonel Volgin from capturing me.
It was in some ways the very first indication that that system was starting to soften a little bit, because 20 years earlier Khrushchev would have been killed, and then Brezhnev.
Volgin will come. I'm sure of it.
God.
Just get me out of here before then.
We had what, like 4 different leaders that all died within 10 years, and then the Cold War ended for some
By
reason.
the way, your Russian is superb.
That is a very clever way to point out that we're not actually doing this all in English.
Is that so?
I will give him that.
That is truly a frightening.
What's with the ear piercing? That doesn't seem very...
No.
I only noticed that just now.
This place. Let's go.
Well, it's strange, to say the least. It's curious. Curious is the term I'm using.
Because normally your monocle would be attached to like a lanyard
Safe with me.
in your shirt pocket
Well-
or something, right?
Certainly, you'd have a little like tie clip or a vest clip or a lapel clip, or a little weighted bar that you put down on the bottom of your pocket.
But
Yeah.
no one will know.
You know, there's a lot of ways to do this. But here's the thing: I am utterly convinced Kojima knows what reality is. I'm utterly convinced of this. I just think that he understands reality, and then goes, "That's boring," and then just kind of remixes it a little bit. Like, why not on his ear? Why not this? Why not that? And people who don't get on that bus get on the struggle bus.
Yeah.
So it's like it's the same problem with George Lucas. When George Lucas has people pushing back, you get the Star Wars 4, 5, 6. When you don't have people pushing back, you end up with the prequels. And it's that whole thing of you have to have people who are like, George, I know how to shoot this. George, I know how to edit this. And you have people who are equals. But when you have somebody who's like ascended to God status as a developer or what have you, and they're called a legend or self-declared or otherwise, you end up with this notion that they can do no wrong. And when that notion arrives,
You get
you
Jackie
end
Brown.
up with you end up with some pretty wild stuff. And it's just like,
The more realistic models make the exaggerated movements here all the more interesting. Yeah, how could they know that we were here? I only started a gunfight and then ran into this room to start the cutscene.
least realistic part, they yelled freeze before shooting.
This is the legendary boss. Huh? We meet at last.
I would not spin a Makarov. Hold on.
You're from the Ocelot unit of Spetsnaz. What's a crew soldier doing here?
Yeah.
Alright, it's clear. Magazine out. Yeah, no, that does not work. The balance is all wrong.
And
And
it's-
actually, the trigger well's just a little too big and a little too ovoid.
well, it's not only that. See, there's a lot of dumb stuff you don't do if you've ever been around firearms ever
Well,
for any
yes.
reason. You just don't. Yeah, you just don't do it. But if you don't grow up around firearms or have training or respect for firearms, then you do stuff like that. There's a good reason why cowboys with a single action army can spin that, because it is a single action firearm. Until you pull the hammer back, it cannot go off. It's not indexed on the cylinder. The spring isn't cocked. Nothing will happen. The thing that I think is funny is that anyone who hasn't been around a firearm or doesn't have respect for, the inherent danger and violence that can be unleashed, doesn't understand that power and that responsibility, will just be like, that's pretty cool.
How in the fuck do you move so fast to knock your beret off?
Maybe he does that as part of his thing. He knocks the beret off, and he's like, I moved that fast. And they're like, no, I saw you knock it off. And he's like, you see it? The beret just flew off when I moved. And they're like, you literally knocked it off your head. I watched you.
Well, and he wears his beret American style. The Russians prefer it further back on the head.
Well, that, and what if this was just what Ocelot said happened? That I came out and I was spinning the Makarov around my pistol, and then they told me to stop, and then I flipped my beret off. I moved so fast and I shot them all with my Makarov, and I bounced a bullet off a guy, and the American commando guy was scared, and I was tough. Like, that sounds like something somebody says. And then in reality, it's like two of them on other side of a wall, like the Naked Gun, just shooting over it with their handguns, yelling at each other. And then the military shows up and they accidentally shoot each other. And then one guy runs off, and they're like, why are all these guys dead? And he's like, well, yeah, but see, I was a cowboy. And they don't know what that means. And then he makes the meow sound.
Yep.
And they're like, just get out of my office. Get out of my office.
And then a bunch of GRU operatives show up with Stoner 63s and AMDs.
Yes, let's get the Hungarian machine guns, because we don't have enough. That makes sense.
Then die.
Again, I really want to believe that this is what he said. And then the other part is what Snake said he did. I took the gun away from him and I choked him out. That didn't happen. Like, I don't think that happened at all. So I think both of these guys have told a sham story, and then behind the scenes they worked to agree to it, each telling their part. But then he did the gunslinger thing, and then I did kung fu, and really they were just both lost in a ravine shooting at each other.
Well, no, that part happens later.
Ugh.
See, why doesn't that happen when I shoot him in the arm in gameplay? That would have been funny. It's kind of stubby for a 9 Mac round. You think he's carrying a Makarov in 380?
You know, that's a good question. I mean,
I see what you were trying to do, but testing a technique.
We're not going to tell anyone that I shot myself in the foot and that you got beamed by a tree branch. Deal? Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I mean, you can get it in 9x18 Makarov, and that cartridge is supposed to be a 9x18 Makarov, and the way you can tell the difference between 9x18 Makarov and 380 Auto is 380 Auto is flushed, and 9x18 Makarov very definitely has a deep-seated, push in. It's a little bit deeper seated, as almost a ledge. The other thing is, most of the Makarov you're going to find, ammunition-wise, is definitely steel case, lacquered.
You're pretty good.
Hey, look, Psyduck got COVID again. Mazel tov.
Excellent timing. Were you waiting, Manglex?
One of my favorites, though. One of my absolute favorites, though. That's kind of crazy. Is I would love. I had a guy who's called the Makarov the AK of the pistol world.
I've run into a few.
I said, really? And he goes, yeah. I said, okay, check this out. And I took out one of the 9x18 cartridges, and I gently rubbed it on the counter, and I put it in his magazine. I said, okay, shoot it. And he did, and it failed to feed. And I was like, uh-oh. Yeah, I don't think that's an AK.
Sokolov was being guarded by the KGB and hunted by GRU. Snake.
Y'all ever been in a high-maintenance relationship that doesn't deliver? That's what owning a Makarov is like.
I agree. You'd better hurry.
It's almost nice. You know, when you see somebody who can make a nice dinner, like they have a nice big juicy steak, and you go like, man, that's going to be good, and then they put it in the microwave? That's the Makarov experience. It's good ingredients. It's bad execution. Now, if you had to have an AK of the pistol world, I don't know, probably C75. We're going to go with Commie Block. Hell, if you're looking for stuff that is bone dead reliable and weird, Tokarev.
Mousetrap, really? That's what you had on you, Mr. Ocelot? Because you're a cat?
Yeah. He's a cat. He's got a hunt, right? The sky steak of pistols, indeed.
All right, let's go get cutscened to death. Snake runs like Hank Hill in this. Do I have anything more ridiculous than this? Not at this stage. There we go. Ugh. That definitely looks more like a mask than it did the first time around. Dolonovadno. Hey! Cynthia Harold, how are you doing?
Cynthia Harold, here to play with us as we complain about guns and make fun of people. By people, I mean the characters in this game.
We're from the Ocelot unit. Spetsnaz. Yes.
Oh, the mask's mouth doesn't move. That's awesome.
They're coming.
Yeah, that's not alarming.
I'm finished.
Calm down. I'll get you out of here, I promise. And we got some of the best back.
Imagine someone rescues you, right? Imagine someone rescues you and tells you to calm down. And they are out of nowhere, shirtless and wearing a mask.
That's what they were making.
And you're like, why?
Yes.
And they're like, calm down.
You can see their jaw move underneath the mask, and it's slightly muffled, but it's just stretching the lips.
Oh yes. And without support from friendly units.
So, question about the FN F2000. Interesting idea. Like, you know, the P90 or whatever, I'm sure has a niche, but it's a very expensive one.
Is that thing finished?
And how simple could you make a Thompson? I'm pretty sure I could make one out of stampings, but you wouldn't like it.
Truly finished until we complete
Hippocampus hamster, yes. That's both.
true form. If it is completed and the Colonel gets his hands on it, it will mean the
Just imagine you get rescued by someone who's wearing a mask of someone you probably know at the facility, and it's not a great mask because it's perfectly still and like a doll, like, you know, like a China ceramic doll, you know, like porcelain. And then the guy behind it is very intense, and it's just like, why do you have this mask on? Like, I would get 3 sentences in, and I'd be like, what the fuck is with the mask? I would just be like, what the fuck is with the mask, man? I need to know.
eyes move, yeah.
Let's go.
Still. I just think it's funny that Kojima's like, in the IRBM stage and the MRBM stage, The best way to boost a projectile would be to accelerate on land. I'm like, all right. That's why our modern ballistic missiles have a Freightliner rev it up to 75. You know,
before we start.
Before we do it. That's how you know you get that little bit of extra. At 75 miles an hour, adds a little bit of range. It's like, well, what about wind resistance? Because see, there was this thing we learned long ago where if you shoot things up and the Earth turns a bit, you get more range out of it.
Yeah.
They figured that out in World War I with the Paris gun.
There is the spin launcher thing. There is. Laurie Allen. Good voice actress.
Yes.
UNC Samurai says, what game would induce maximum rage in Tex for making so much effort, yet getting the gun so wrong?
Most modern shooters, to be honest. Like I really didn't enjoy the Ready or Not game, because their approaches to firearms and how they say they work versus how I know they work are very different. There was stuff that you should be able to shoot through that you can't in that game. And there's also the guns do not behave in a realistic manner. So the other one is Arma. Like, Arma does not do a good simulation of firearms.
No,
and I know a lot of people...
Decent simulation of other systems.
But right, you don't play...
Yeah.
You don't play Arma for realistic gun fu. You play Arma so you can play integrated arms and, you know, have air-land battle all in one game. That's why you play Arma. But I've had people sit there and be like, this is realistic to the ballistics. I'm like, no, it's not. I have one. I own this rifle. I built this rifle. I know how this rifle works. Like, I took stampings and turned it into a gun that prints at 0.5 MOA. Like, yeah, I know how to make a gun that does pretty good stuff. Trust me when I say I know what I'm talking about. And I've had the Arma crowd be like, well, usually it's like some 14-year-old kid or something. So they'll say, how dare you insult a future army man? And I'm like, okay, thank you.
On that topic, oh god, that's worse than higher def. On that topic, I saw the Delta Squad video posted at 5 this morning. I watched it. They've added quite a bit since I stepped away from that game.
Awesome. Cynthia Harold says, you guys don't think I'm the best video game singer? Lori is my friend, and I agree. I sang Snake Eaters, they say.
Oh!
Well,
hello.
I'm going to say this. Here's the thing. I do appreciate it if you are indeed the person, but this is the internet, so a little bit of skepticism, because the only thing you should take in the newspaper is fish and chips, and even that with a pinch of salt. That being said, if you are indeed who you are, most assuredly welcome, and welcome to our modest stream. I am D-grade internet celebrity, very niche internet celebrity, Tex the Black Pants Legion. This is my very, very good friend, Dep, and we love shitting on weird games and stuff. So we love having fun. However, I do actually make film, and I'm always needing singers for music. So if you're, I do pay, and I tell you this much: send me an email, theblackpantslegion@gmail.com, and I will be more than glad to see what you can do, because I make movies and I actually do need soundtracks. I'm always for it. Yeah. But please understand my general skepticism, considering the age of the internet. Why I met a bot that told me he was Jesus.
He has not yet found an emotion to carry into battle.
What are you talking about?
Think you can pull the trigger?
Did they ever clear up that plot point?
Plot points in a Kojima game? Resolution? Are you crazy? That's insane. But Snake Eater is a jam.
Well, no. What emotion does Big Boss carry into battle?
I would probably carry regret that I'm wearing a kabuki mask in combat.
He's seen my face.
That's the one that's probably regret would be up there. You know, what
Yeah.
do I carry? And it just what's the opposite of ambition?
Apathy?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Those are the correct buttons for that coat.
He's my apprentice. I'll take care of him.
Now, I hate to be a dick, but there's a limited number of primers available that react positively to command electrical impulse in 7.62 by 54R. Okay.
All right, we've got 25 minutes before we are off.
Oh, it'll be fine. And by the way, anyone who wants to join, including our newfound, equally interesting internet celebrity, we have this thing called the Black Pants Legion Discord Auxiliary, the Black Pants Legion Auxiliary Discord, I should say. And right there is how you can join. And Cynthia, if you would like to chat, I would certainly be open to it. Because if you see what kind of bullshit we pull off, it's not only niche internet filmmaking, but we've raised about $500,000 for charity over the past few years as, again, a D- grade YouTube channel. On top of that, we tried to buy Albania's Air Force, but they wouldn't sell it to us.
Shagohod is ours.
Oh, thank you for following. No, we, God, that was what, 2 years ago that we went through and did all the Metal Gear Solid games?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say Albania's Air Force. I'm like, I don't want to remember.
No. I was letting that thread drop.
Yeah, I really tried. I really tried. We reached out to their ambassador. We reached out to their foreign minister, defense minister. Back when I had a Twitter, which I certainly wouldn't recommend anyone having these days. Most social media is just bots. But that has actually been a fun experiment. Do you know what happened when I stopped posting stuff on Twitter, Reddit, etc.? Do you know what happened to my overall traffic and engagement? Do you know what happened? 0% difference. It's all noise. It makes no difference. Just focus on your art, people. Don't buy into that crap.
Listen to me. You need emergency medical treatment.
That's why I just have like a Discord. People ask me all the time to repost stuff, and I'm like, where? I surface, I release the content, I disappear. So when it comes down to stuff like that, don't buy into the hype. Now, when it comes down to Albania's Air Force, I really tried. I even had a guy who was willing to drive into Albania. I had given him an amount of money, and he was commanded to do a certain number of things. When it didn't work out, I had him just give it to a food bank, and he was more than happy to do it and help me out. But I was going to have him drive into Albania because he had a wonderful mustache, and I was going to get him to dye his mustache white and wear a top hat and an overcoat and a monocle, and then bid his uncle money bags. That was my whole goal, is I was going to get his point of view as Uncle Moneybags at this airbase as whoever's trying to buy these, and just be like, oh. I said, if you could get some of the USD in like a big rapid 20s and take it out of your coat pocket and use it to mop your brow, I think that would be hilarious. Be like, oh, that's a very high price, just completely whatever. And then I found out they just sold them anyways, which is really not nice, because back when I had a Twitter, I did the @ Albania, and I did their embassy and everything else. And believe me, no one's tweeting Albania. I tweeted to them and I said, hey, how much for those MiGs? Are these still available? And then like 10 minutes later, I said, I will wear this t-shirt, and it is the I Heart Albania t-shirt. I said, I'll wear that t-shirt for a year, and I will spend every stream, everything, saying positive things about Albania. Weird little factoids. I had a whole list written up. Most bunkers per capita in the world. See, right off it. I knew everything to say. No MiGs. So Albania and I, BFF status, gone. Sorry. They had their chance.
That is the Sorrow's body there behind the log.
Look, I'm saying,
Right,
here's what
we'll
my plan would have been.
We'll bandage it. We'll suture over the top.
Here's my plan, and I think the plan was pretty smart. Okay,
and a knife in it.
My plan was I was going to get all the MiGs, and damn my neighbors, they can deal with a bunch of Chinese MiG knockoffs on my lawn. If I'll street park them, you know what I mean? I would just have a pile of MiGs in front of my house, and if they said anything, I would say it's an art display. Then would begin the process of calling all my friends who are either pilots or have worked on aircraft, and I would say, bring all your tools, tell me what you need, and then we would take them apart, and out of those we would make one functioning aircraft. So help me God. That is what I was going to do.
I mean, most of the, we'll say Red 4 aircraft, to be inclusive to not just Russian origin, in the United States have come from government auctions of the exact same sort.
Right,
those
and I was like, man,
were wildly outdated.
It would have been nice. It would have been very nice.
You were in the running against museums, not other agencies of government.
I'm telling you this much. I would have used them, as I stated on the paperwork, quote, for all lawful purposes.
Oh, God.
I use that on all of my paperwork. All of it. For all lawful purposes.
Good job, Snake.
Why are you for all lawful purposes? If you just start chanting that, you're well within the boundaries of the law. Why are you doing this for all lawful purposes?
Balloon.
Like, I'll deal with the government and everything else at some time. If somebody was like, why do you have 15 MiGs? I'd be like, because I want them. I thought this was America.
The worst part would be swapping in Western engines at some point.
I don't think that'd be necessary.
No, there's enough parts for the East Block stuff that you can maintain them as long as you're not maintaining a large op-tempo, heavy op-tempo. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Black with red, that's an interesting color scheme. Yeah, Point Man Frosty, exactly. There's a private Air Force in the state of Texas that has franchised. How are those 5 able to lift that thing? They wouldn't be.
No, what would happen is they would all surround it, and they'd do one jerk, and then one would touch the other's rotors, and then there would be the coolest explosion in the world.
Granite Elephant, my understanding is Eastern engines are a pain in the ass because of lack of translated documentation. I can tell you that even just maintaining something so simple as Sagaz, without being fluent in Russian, is an absolute pain. The German documentation that I do have is decent, but it's not all-inclusive.
Hey, the guy with his pistol out and in the helicopter is sitting there holding a bullet. Maybe we should stop him from doing that. As you know, you paint U.S. on your nuclear warhead.
You always do. There are several private fighter jet companies in the country. Most of them will do contract training against the Air Force and the Navy.
are we going to do with the girl?
That's the largest inside of a hind I have ever seen.
Every aircraft is the TARDIS. It's not even so much the width, it's that there's so much depth to it, and there's so much height. They're not stooped to get into it.
She's a nice catch. I'll take her.
Search and rescue operations could use fighters, in theory. They could.
So fast.
In fact, that used to be a common tactic for the Coast Guard.
I will be right back because I wanted to read some stuff live so you can react to it.
Oh no. Okay.
It's related to your doings. I'll be back.
Related to my doings?
We may be able to use her. She has spunk.
The problem with it being an Mi-28 is it's got the Hind A model
Shall we take her back to the base?
greenhouse cabin versus the
Perhaps we
bubbles.
should.
It is specifically called out in game. It's the earliest model of the Hind that was only in prototyping at this stage. But it's hand waved that the Philosopher's Legacy allowed Colonel Volgin here to accelerate a bunch of stuff.
You're going to nuke your fellow Russians?
Yeah, he definitely looks worse in this version.
So, I got something for you.
Recoilless does not mean you can fire it inside a helicopter cabin without worry.
Well, you can once. Also, I'd say this, but if you can see the flash, you'll be in the shockwave.
Yeah.
And helicopters don't like that. All right, so are you ready for some of the things you have inspired?
Oh no. Okay.
So there's an art channel in the Black Pants Legion Auxiliary. There's an art channel.
Yes.
And in this art channel, we've been collecting, art for when because we're gonna put it on YouTube.
Big cloud for W54.
Yes, we're gonna put it on YouTube for consumption, much like the Magistratum Mundanus, with some visual elements as well, and some, that way we can show some of the art you got done, and because we can show some of those visual elements. We're also having art drawn of it, which I think will be really fun.
Yeah.
Now here's the best part of all this. Oh, wait,
here we are.
Song.
Yep.
Yeah, we got to listen to this song because it's awesome. And lady who sang the song, we love it.
Yeah. This is the new recording. It's so Bond.
Oh, it nails it, absolutely. Snack eater.
Yeah, I'd say Miss Harold probably stepped away to a different stream. It makes sense to have some of the people doing the press junket.
I meant what I said, though. I'd hire her in a heartbeat. I'd love to absolutely do a BattleTech shitpost.
Okay. New the Sorrow looks a lot more like Ocelot. For me running this on the minimum settings, it actually does look decent. Especially for an Unreal Engine 5 game. And technically, I'm below the minimums on a 1080, but it is chugging through. Yeah, the stream's a little crunchy, and I've got it. I can kick it up a little bit off the minimums, because it wants a 2060. I've got a 1080, so it's more powerful.
Are you ready though for what you inspired?
Oh, okay.
So, they've made some. The Black Pants Legion Auxiliary, of course, really does love the Traveler game. It's
Yes.
inspired a bunch of people to run their own Traveler games, getting started in Traveler, which
Good.
I think is exactly what you wanted to achieve.
It is. I'm disappointed with my own performance on that, but we can talk about that in the after action.
Don't worry about it. So here's the best part. So someone did a Lone Star commercial. NutriPaste kills the hunger. The Smorty Fifth and Churger kills the soul.
Okay.
Only at Lone Star. The other one that's actually really good. When Morton Slobby saw everyone he knew cared about vaporizing the thermonuclear fireball on Cruciferous after the rapidly growing strain of cabbage clogged the reactor cooling loop, he swore vengeance. Today you can taste his spite in every bowl. We use that very same rapid-growing cabbage-adjacent plant material and the most available dilute acetic acid vegetable oil protein emulsion in every bowl. Just take a bite and you'll say, I surmise sloppies.
Oh no.
And then another one that's simple.
So how does it feel to be
Slobbies.
a
We
patient
got
in
the
one of the most
slaw.
advanced ICUs in the world?
Would you do me a favor and tell the suits about visiting
slobbies.
hours? I'll never get better with them assaulting me day and night with their questions.
Must be part of the top brass's inquiry.
More like an interrogation.
I think my favorite restaurant that I worked in is the Generic.
They're just looking for a escape.
Yeah, because that genuinely weirded a couple of you
Just say
guys
neither
out.
one of us is going to be made
It
a
really
national hero out
did,
of this.
because it's something that we could definitely
This fox is
see
still one step
happening.
ahead of the hound.
Absolutely.
The reason I came to see you,
And when you see things that
The
you
Raytheon screen
see
box.
happening,
the situation has changed. We've still got a chance to come out of this one alive.
Sorry, go ahead.
Kind of chance.
Don't get too
I lost
excited.
my train of thought because I'm just watching the
Have a
CCTV
cigar.
camera like they would actually do that in the 60s.
Yes. Why was he hanging out of the sidecar in that shot? So that is a method
This morning, I had a meeting with the CIA.
They decided
move your center of gravity to make tighter turns. You'll see that
even
in
bigger.
sidecar motorcycle racing mostly,
Yesterday, the White House received
which is a
unexpected
crazy sport, an absolutely insane sport. But yeah, no, that's something you can absolutely do. Did the SR-71 fly? I think that was an A-12, not an SR-71. But yeah, the early 60s is the right time period. Ladder maker. Okay, 62. Yep.
A few days ago,
Do I need to make Fisher Price play Sloppy's food again? Oh god.
Please don't.
Was destroyed in a nuclear explosion. At about the same time, our
Yeah,
anti-aircraft
motorcycle
radar
chariot racing.
picked up a signature that appeared to come from one of your military aircraft. Does any of this sound familiar to you? In retaliation, I have placed our armed forces on secondary alert.
I wonder who did the cruise
Depending
chef
on your
voice in this,
response, I
because
may be
it's
left
okay.
with no choice but to order the military to maximum alert and unleash Armageddon. With the help of your predecessor, I was able to survive the Cuban incident. But my power is not as great as it once was.
Don't see Khrushchev being that gracious towards Kennedy.
No.
As to say I was able to survive the Cuba incident? No.
I don't think so.
Contacted you myself. Did you know that?
But no, whenever I see CCTV and they're like, in the 60s,
So you haven't heard.
What would have made more cool spy stuff is to show like hidden cameras from little pinholes and stuff capturing moments.
Yeah, which that one sort of was trying to do with the every 4 seconds it would be a new image, but yeah.
Then they added a, nice little refresh screen thing, like it's on a monitor, but it's a slideshow. The problem is when I see something like this on a projector, I scream focus. Like, hey, the aperture deal? There's that little lever on there. Throw that to the left button. There you go.
That's the one. And she took 2
Focus.
miniature nuclear
Please.
shells along
Please
with her.
focus.
The boss took 2 miniature
Focus,
nuclear
please.
shells.
For the love of God.
I'm afraid so. I believe they were a gift for her new hosts. The Davy Crockett Atomic Battle Group delivery system was completed
What I think would
2
be
years
funny
ago.
is if they had the translator going
Serious
back and forth
problems
in the
were found
background and you hear them
launches,
yelling
range, and
over an
precision.
argument, and then
Although they
you know,
were a mass
Yeah, and then the
producer,
translators are just
never been
discussing
deployed
kind
in
of
battle.
calmly with each other.
But Sokolov's
Yeah.
research facility
that would be funny.
out. The whole area is polluted.
The thing about the
can only
Davy
offer
Crockett
you
is
my
that when you
deepest
start reading the
condolences
Davy
over this
Crockett
terrible
manuals,
tragedy.
the way to use that weapon is it is mounted in the back of a Jeep, and you're supposed to park on a ridge line,
and took them with her.
fire it with the Jeep in gear, and then drive as fast as you can in the other direction using the ridge you were on top of as cover from the explosion. And maybe you will survive. That is the Davy Crockett.
Right so far.
Yes, that's correct.
And the American government denies
It is
any
an
involvement
absolutely
in the affair.
batshit system.
Is that right as well?
Random question. Do you think sci-fi as a genre would exist in a future setting
Then
like
what was the
Battletech
US
or any other
military
far
aircraft
future setting?
doing on our
Absolutely.
radar screen?
Absolutely.
It was clearly
You know,
read by
sci-fi
Absolutely.
100 years ago
And yet you
was
say
talking
it
about
was not
technology that
acting
we've
under
developed in
your
the last
orders.
50 years. Sci-fi
And-
now is talking about stuff we hope to develop in the next 100.
That this was all
That and the other thing is that science fiction is a way to dream, especially if you look at people who grew up in oppressive regimes. Stanislaus Lem wrote The Invincible. You should probably
Fantastic book. And really
should
good
probably-
tie-in video game.
you should probably go read The Invincible if you haven't. And it's like, wow, this is amazing science fiction. Science fiction was, for the longest time, how Soviet authors could get around censorship. And so you find that in a lot of societies that are equally repressed in other ways, like Victorian Britain or what have you, that had decency laws on what you could talk about.
You must find some way to prove your
Science fiction, H.G. Wells. You can't talk about the ills of society, but you can talk about a future society that has surpassed those ills, right? So it allows you to dream to the future.
Yeah.
And I think that any setting, especially one that is oppressive and terrible and whatever, would absolutely have science fiction, where you can look at the problems of today from the lens of learned and wise people who have suffered through these lessons to arrive at a higher truth. Roddenberry, all these other things are certainly exemplars of their era. And I think that that's kind of the joy of science fiction.
Indeed, indeed. We are up against our hard time limit, though, so that will be all for us today.
Well, we got it running.
We got it running. We
And-
got 2 hours into it. We had Cynthia Harold, the singer of Snake Eater, show up, which was very unexpected and very appreciated if she's still here and listening. Yeah, and we got some interesting conversation in. Let's see.
Well, yeah. I'll see if she's willing to do a shit post, because I have a good one.
Psydoc has confirmed she's doing a media tour, and her Twitter's talking about her dropping in on streamers.
Ah, all right. Well, I'll just send her an email, because I'll be like, hey, I got an idea for a song.
Yeah, the Traveler game didn't cause as much casualties as Delta Squad. They did not. They did not.
I tried to steer you guys so many times to nonviolent altercations. You solved them regardless with the tools you had on the belt. You were just like, go, gadget, gun. I'd like to roll to solve the puzzle. And the dice were on the table before I said stop.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Victor von Vogt is a hammer, and he finds all the nails he can.
I understand.
I think that is the core of that character. And you put me in charge. Anyway, so we have, I believe, Cooking on the Rim coming up?
Yes.
Yes. So we will be back in approximately a minute or 2 with that stream. So you all have a fantastic night.
All right. Later, guys.